Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Open University.
Namaskar dear students, I am Dr. Himanshu Patel, working as an assistant professor in School of Computer Science of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Open University. I welcome you all on the course of cross-platform application development using Flutter. Today we are going to dive into the world of Flutter, which is Google's user interface toolkit, and we will learn about Flutter Widget and how to write your first Flutter app. By the end of this session, you will understand the basic building blocks of Flutter and will be able to create simple functional apps. So what are the learning objectives of today's session? So let us start with our learning objectives. By the end of this session, you will be able to understand what Flutter widgets are, distinguish between different types of widgets, identify key characteristics of Flutter widgets, use common Flutter widgets to build user interfaces, and at the end you are able to write your first basic Flutter app with your code. Let's begin our journey. So what is Flutter widget? Flutter widgets are the building blocks of user interface. In Flutter, everything is a widget. Widgets are the fundamental component used to construct and define the appearance and interaction of your app's user interface. Widgets are the building blocks of a Flutter app's user interface, and each widget is an immutable declaration of part of the user interface. Widgets are used to describe all aspects of user interface, including physical aspects such as text and buttons to layout, effect like padding and alignment. Basically, widget describes what the user interface should look like and how it should behave based on state and user interact. Now let us understand key characteristics of Flutter widget. Flutter widgets have 5 key characteristics. First is compositional and hierarchical. Widgets are organized in a tree structure where widgets can contain other widgets, forming a hierarchy. These widget tree helps Flutter understand layout and update the user interface efficiently. Second characteristic is immutability. So widgets properties cannot be directly changed. To update the user interface, you must create new widget with the desired modification. Another characteristic is declarative. You can describe what you want the user interface to look like, and Flutter handles the process of rendering and updating it. This approach offers great flexibility. Another characteristic is reusable. Widgets can be easily reused throughout your application, promoting code consistency and speeding up development. Another property is customizable. You can tailor widgets to fit specific design requirements and implement custom functionality. Now let us explore different types of widgets. Flutter widgets fall into 2 categories. One is called stateless widget. These widgets are immutable and don't maintain any internal state that changes over time. They are ideal for displaying static content like text, icons and images. Examples are text, icon, image and container. Another type of widget is a stateful widgets. These widgets can change their internal state dynamically in response to the user interaction or other events. They are composed of stateful widgets class and separate state class that holds the mutable state and defines the build method. Now whenever the state changes, the state method is called to trigger a rebuild of the widget and update the user interface. Example of these kind of widgets are checkbox, radio button, slider, text field and form. Now let us understand commonly used widgets. So let's go through a few commonly used Flutter widgets by category. First is a layout widget, contains container, row, column, list view, stack, grid view, padding and size box. Another is basic user interface elements, which consist of text, image and icon. Another is interactive widgets, which includes elevated button, text button, icon button, floating action button, text field, checkbox, radio, switch, slider and drop down button. Another category are structure widgets, which include scaffold, app bar, bottom navigation bar and tab bar. Now, understanding Flutter widgets and how to utilize both stateless and stateful widgets effectively is crucial for developing efficient, responsive and visually appealing applications. These are your go-to tools when building a user interface in Flutter. Let us start with each category. The first category is the basic widgets. Now, these are widgets to know before building your first Flutter app. It includes app bar, column, container, image, placeholder, row, elevated button, Flutter logo, icon, scaffold and tag. Now, description of each widget is shown on the screen. For example, app bar is a container that displays content and actions at the top of screen. Similarly, column is a layout, a list of widgets in the vertical direction, while row is a layout which lists child widgets in a horizontal direction. Similarly, icon is a material design icon and scaffold implements the basic material design, visual layout structure and these class provides API for showing drawers, snack bars and button sheets. These are called basic widgets and we must know these widgets before building our first Flutter app. Another type of widget is input widget. So, on screen you can see 4 different input widgets. The first is a autocomplete, which is a widget for helping the user make selection by entering some text and choosing among a list of options. Another type of input widget is form, which is optional container for grouping together multiple form fields widgets like text field widgets. Another is form field, which is a single form field. These widgets maintain current state of the form field so that updates and validation errors are visually reflected. Another type of input widget is keyboard listener, which is a widget that calls callback whenever the user presses or releases key on the keyboard. Another type of widget is text widgets. There are 3 types of text widget. First is default text style, another is a rich text and third one is text. Text is a run of text with a single style, while in case of rich text you can display text that use multiple different style, and default text style is a text style applied to descendant text widgets without explicit style. So, these are called text widget. Another type of widgets are called single child layout widget. On screen you can see it includes align, aspect ratio, baseline, center, constraint box and container. We will use each of them in a coding. Another type of single child layout widgets are padding, which is a widget that inserts its child by giving padding. There is a size box, which is generally used to place space between 2 different widgets, and there is a size overflow box, which is a widget that is specific size but passes its original constraint to its child, which will probably overflow. Another type of single child layout widget is transform, which is a widget that applies transformation before painting its child. We discuss multi-child layout widget, a layout widgets which contains more than one widget. So, on screen you can see column. So, basically it arrange all the widgets in a column format. It lists a child widget in the vertical direction that you can see on the screen. Then there is a custom multi-child layout, flow, grid view and index tag. For example, a grid view list consists of repeated pattern of cells arranged in a vertical and horizontal layout like grid form. So, these are the widgets which displays more than one child widget. Another type of multi-child layout widgets are layout builder, list body, list view, row, tag, table and wrap. These are the layout widgets which may have more than one child widget. Then there are some scrolling widgets. So, first is a custom scroll view, draggable scrollable sheet, grid view and list view. There is also widget called nested scroll view. Now, all these widgets are scrollable. That means if child widgets are not displayed in available space, automatically displays scroll bar so that you can move to view other widgets. Another types of scrolling widgets are notification listener, page view, refresh indicator, scroll bar, recordable list view, scroll configuration, scrollable and single child scroll bar. So again these are scrolling widgets available in Flutter. Then there are some styling widgets. So first is a media query which establishes a subtree in which media query is resolved to the given data. Then there is a padding which is a widget that insets its child by the given padding. Then there is a theme which applies a theme to descendant widgets and it describes the colors and typographic choices of an application. Then another important types of widgets are assets, image and icon widget. You can see on the screen there is a asset bundle, icon, image and row image. All these are used to manage assets or display images and show icons. We will also use all these in a demonstration. Now let us look at widget composition. Flutter uses composition. Widgets are arranged in a tree-like structure where each widget nests within another. For example, app bar is a part of the scaffold. The body of the page is also inside scaffold. These hierarchy makes Flutter flexible and powerful. Now in emulator you can see the actual screen. Now how different part represented you can see in a layout. Now this my home page is actually app bar and rest of the part is called body. Now hello world is a text, then there is a space between hello world and button, so it is a size box, then there is a button and all these are arranged in a center and using column layout widget. And there is a material app. Inside material app there is a scaffold. Inside scaffold there is a app bar and body, and inside body you can see first there is a center in which we have placed column widgets, and inside column we have placed three widgets: text, size box and button. So whenever you think of some layout you have to think like this. Entire screen is a material app which consists of scaffold, which consists of app bar and body, and inside body we have any widget composition like this. Let us try to understand our first Flutter code. In previous skeleton app, we have seen that we have not write single line of code, but Flutter provides us some basic functionality like incrementing counter by pressing floating action button. Now we want to write down code by ourselves. So you can see on the screen simple app code that displays greeting message. Now let us try to understand these code. The very first statement is a import statement which includes this material.dart file in our code so that we can create material app. Now what is material app? So in Flutter, designed other than iOS is called material design or material app design. Now here we have write down code inside main function which is our entry point. Now here first we write down run app function to display app which is of type widget. So my app is nothing but a widget that we want to show on the screen. So whenever main start executing, run app function is called and displays a widget represented by my app. Now what is my app? So we have already discussed that in a Flutter we have two types of widget. One is a stateful widget and another is stateless widget. So here we want to just display hello world and welcome to the Flutter. So hello world is displayed in app bar and welcome to Flutter is displayed in a body in a center. So we write down class my app and which is a widget. So we write down extend stateless widgets. Why stateless widgets? Because there is no interaction with user, it's just static content we want to display on screen. Every time there is no interaction, we must create widgets which extend stateless widget. Now every stateless widgets must write down build math. So here we write down @override and we write down build method, which returns widget and takes argument of type build context. So this is a method where you actually create or build widget and then return that widget, which is displayed by run app method. So here we want to return material app. Now we have seen in the hierarchy that material app consists of home. Inside home we have scaffold, and scaffold consists of two things, app bar and body. So here first we write down return material app, then inside bracket we have to specify in home scaffold, which consists of two parts. So inside scaffold we specify first app bar. App bar is of type app bar with title, and title is nothing but again text widget. So we write down app bar colon and then app bar into bracket title, which represent our title. So title is of type text and it displays hello world. Now another things we want to display is welcome to Flutter in center of screen. So that is not part of app bar, but it is a part of body. So after app bar we write down comma, and in next line we specify body. Inside body we use center widget, and center widgets we have to specify its child. So we write down child colon, and what we want to display, welcome to Flutter. So welcome to Flutter can be displayed by text widget. So we write down that in body we want to display center, and inside center we want to display child of type text with tag welcome to Flutter, and then we close scaffold and then we close material app and we write down semicolon, and then we close opening and closing bar of stateless widgets class and build method. So this is how we write down code. Now we modify this code to include more functionality while we learn actual demonstration. Until then you have to remember like this: any screen represent material app. Inside material app we have scaffold. In home, inside scaffold we have two parts, app bar at the top and body. Inside body we can use any widget as a child, and we can also nested these widgets. In this case we have only single widget, so we need not to nested child, but since there is a one widget we can just mention single child. So this is how these app work. Now let us understand widget tree for these. So on screen you can see widget tree for previous app. So entire screen is represented by my app, which is a stateless widget, which is nothing but material app. Inside material app there is a scaffold. Now scaffold consists of two things, app bar and center, which is a part of body. So inside app bar there is a text called hello world, and inside center there is a text which displays welcome to Flutter. Now on right hand side you can see widget tree generated by Visual Studio Code. So we can draw these widget tree manually, or based on your code Visual Studio Code automatically generate widget tree for your screen. So understanding the widget tree is crucial. It visually represent how widgets are nested. So there is a material app, then there is a scaffold, then there is a app bar. Inside app bar there is a body and center and body consist of text. Now these hierarchy helps Flutter know what to render and update when the state changes. We are going to write down our first Flutter app inside Visual Studio Code. So double click on Visual Studio Code, then press Ctrl+Shift+P to open command palette, and inside that select Flutter new project. Now our project is of type application, and here you have to select folder to create project. Now give name to your application. So I write down first Flutter app and then press enter. Now it will create this project structure for us. Now once this project is loaded, we want to write down code from scratch. So open this main.dart file inside lib folder and select everything and press delete. So now there is nothing inside our main.dart file. Now very first statement we have to write down is import, then package, then colon, and inside that we have to select Flutter and material.dart. So this is first statement you have to write down, in order to use material app. Our entry point is main function. So every app consists of main. Now inside main, we have to call run app function. When you type run, it automatically shows functions available with that name. So from list, select run app. Here you can see it takes one argument of type widget. So here we write down my app. So my app should be of type widget. So that's why we have to define one class called my app which extends stateless widgets. So now it shows underline in my app. You can remove these error by clicking on quick fix. So it provide you option create one missing override. So I'm clicking on that. So it will automatically write build method. Now inside build, you have to return widgets that you want to show by these my app. So what we want to display is app bar at the top, and inside center we want to display text. So here I return material app. Now material app consists of home. Now inside home we have to always specify scaffold, which consists of two things, app bar and body. Inside scaffold we want to specify app bar. So it automatically display option from where you have to select app bar. Now inside app bar we want to display title, which is of type text. So inside data you have to specify text that you want to display in app bar. So here I write down hello world. So it will display hello world inside app bar. After app bar we have to specify body. To make code more readable, you can use command palette and click on format document. So it will automatically arrange your code so that you can better understand your code inside scaffold. So body consists of one widget called center, which displays everything in a center. So it should have child. Basically center is used to hold another widget. So inside child we have to specify text that displays welcome to the Flutter. Now again press Ctrl Shift P and select format document. Now you can see it automatically rearrange code for better readability. Now understand like this. Whenever this app runs, it calls main function. Inside main we call run app method, which displays screen represented by my app. Now inside my app we have extended stateless widget because we do not require any state change, but we want to just display static content. Now whenever you use stateless widgets, you have to override one method called build inside these stateless widget. It automatically provides structure for these widget. Inside that we have to return material app. So we write down return material app. Entire screen is called material app, and inside material app we have to specify home. So home is a nothing but scaffold. So scaffold consists of two things, app bar and body. Inside scaffold we write down app bar, and app bar is represented by this class app bar, and it has a argument called title, which displays some text in a app bar. So here we specify title using text widgets, which displays hello world. Another part is body. So body represent remaining part of scaffold. So inside body we specify center, which is a container for other widgets, and it consists of child of text, which displays welcome to the Flutter. So this text is displayed in center inside body. Now again it shows one underline inside this my app. So go to quick fix. Now it says add key to constructor. So just click on add key to constructor. So it will write constructor for this class. So it just pass one key to its base class. It does nothing, and Flutter automatically provides this functionality. So you need not to worry how to write down these. Now we want to test these app inside emulator. So by clicking Ctrl Shift P and selecting launch emulator, it will launch emulator selected from the list. So I am clicking on emulator name. It will display emulator by launching it. So here you can see my emulator is running. Now I want to test these code inside these emulator. So just press run and debug, or alternatively you can press function key F5. Now I am clicking on run and debug. Now here is the emulator. So Flutter launching my app inside this emulator. So here you can see different messages inside debug console. It is launching lib main.dart on SDK with this emulator architecture in debug mode. So it may take some time to launch this app on emulator. So you have to wait until it is launched on your emulator. So now you can see on the screen that launches app inside emulator. So now my app is launched. In app bar you can see this hello world, and inside center this portion is called body, this top portion is called app bar, and entire white portion is called scaffold. So this is a material app with scaffold, and scaffold consists of app bar and body, and this body displays using text widgets in a center. So I hope you understand this code. Now we will add more functionality to our app in next lecture. So you have to write down same code yourself using Visual Studio Code. So I hope you understand your first Flutter code. As you practice, you will be able to understand these code better. So let us conclude. Now to sum up, Flutter relies on widgets to build everything you see on screen. Widgets can be stateless or stateful depending on the whether they change over time. Building user interfaces in Flutter is like composing Lego block. Each piece fits into another. With the default Flutter code, you can create basic user interface with just a few lines. Congratulations, you have just learned the foundation of Flutter widgets and created your first app. In future lesson, we will explore more advanced widgets, navigation and state management. Thanks for watching and happy coding with Flutter. Thank you.